Back in the book segment tonight, Water's World, the Barely There edition. Viewer warning, got some barely there ladies coming up. Big controversy here in New York City right now. Semi-naked women posing for pictures with tourists. The picture takers are expected to tip the ladies, who of course don't declare it to the IRS. Now that's caused all kinds of angst, as families don't really want their kids seeing that. All right, they don't want their kids exposed to it, pardon the pun. So we sent Waters to Times Square to sort it all out.
How long does it take to get painted?
20 minutes, sometimes an hour.
How did you go from Philly to here?
Well, I'm a professional salsa dancer and I wanted to come out here to pursue my career. And I just walked by one day and I was intrigued and I started asking questions and then I got involved.
I responded to an ad. I was in school still and I was looking for something I could do on the side. I'd met the guy who originated this and started the next day.
What religion do you practice?
I'm Catholic, but God doesn't judge, remember that.
So what does your family think about all this stuff?
Some of them think it's terrible and some of them get it.
My mom is very open-minded. She supports me. She doesn't judge me.
She's my #1 supporter. She's my #1 fan. She shows all her neighbors my photos.
So how does your father feel about this gig?
I think as a dad, he has some reservations.
I don't speak to my father.
Was your dad ever in the picture?
Not really, you know.
At first, he was a little iffy about it, and then he was like, you know what? Go for it. You're my baby girl either way, so have a good time.
How do you feel about all this controversy?
I think it's ridiculous.
I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just if the naked cowboy can do it, so can I.
So there's a war on women going on.
Yes, it's a lot of gender inequality going on, and I think they're judging women and they're not judging him, you know?
We have plenty of women all around Times Square showing their bodies in advertisements. The biggest part of what I'm doing isn't just to be an entertainer, it's also to create a discussion. So somebody has something that they, feel offended by, I'd love for them to come and talk to me about it, express their opinion, and actually have like an actual conversation, discussion about it. Now that we've gotten all this attention, I feel like we don't have enough of what you're doing is actually finding out who the girls are, what each individual girl is representing out here.
What are you doing out here today?
I run security for the naked ladies that are out here in Times Square. I just make sure that they stay safe.
When people criticize these ladies out here, how do you respond to that?
I don't. Anybody can hold their own opinion.
How do you make money?
I work on tips. This is donations.
What's the average tip?
I don't talk about that.
Okay.
I do pretty well for myself. I'd rather not go into numbers, but if there wasn't enough for me to be out here, I wouldn't be here.
Do guys ever give you trouble around here, or do you take care of yourself?
You know, there's always a bad apple in the bunch, always people being rude, but I ignore it and keep going.
Do you ever feel unsafe out here?
No, never. You would think that things happen, but for the most part, they don't. People are very respectful.
This is all they do. They just take pictures and don't want to tip me, which is fine.
Our biggest customers are probably married women.
Really?
Yes, married women. We take pictures with everyone.
Like if you see a mother walking her daughter in a stroller by you, do you ever get a reaction?
Yeah, some women put their stroller right next to me and ask to take a photo.
And I've had people hand me their children. I've had a lady tell me to take her kid right out of the stroller. We have a good time.
Did you go to college for this?
Jesse.
Did you go to college?
I did. I went to Hunter College.
What was your major?
Media studies.
How do you feel about Mayor de Blasio?
I don't care about what he has to say personally. I just feel like he needs to come down here, take a picture, and have a few laughs. Maybe he'll get over it.
Has he been here? He has a lot to say, but I don't know if he's actually ever been here.
I think he's spending far too much money and far too much time with his task force out here when there's bigger issues in New York City than some boobs in Times Square.
Do you ever watch Water's World?
I will now.
I'm Waters, and you're in my world right here.
Waters World.
All right, here's Waters. So de Blasio, the socialistic mayor, he wants to tax these girls.
Right.
So my question is, how are you going to get the receipts? I mean, what are you going to...
There's no receipts.
Right.
Maybe if they said they were homeless, he'd leave them alone.
Now, one thing you didn't mention is that these girls have managers.
Right.
All right? So when they get the money, they give it to some guy.
Well, that's a little hazy. We don't like to talk about that because
we?
they don't like to talk. Well, I feel like I'm a part of these girls
I see
now.
you're with them now.
Yeah, I'm supportive.
All right, you shut up. So here's the deal. They all have guys that bring them in there.
Yes.
And then they give them the money. And
There's some hazy-eyed guys that are just
hazy.
kind of lying around and dating some of these girls.
So de Blasio now wants his piece
Right.
of the action.
Sure. Well said.